Good morning, Dapplings, and welcome back to Woven Tales in Going Medieval, where in the last episode we actually managed to get quite a few things started, but not many things finished. We have finished the redesign of the shrine of the Redemptionist Chapel, and we have begun work on excavating the area for our temple for the Oak Brethren. Now, as you can see, there's a lot of digging yet to do, and then beyond that there's quite a lot of building to do, but we're making some good progress. And we've also gone ahead and set up some planting as well to make this place look and feel a little bit more natural. Furthermore, we have managed to set up some advanced research. We are in the process of expanding out the area for where we're going to be putting the Great Hall, and other than that, of course, just making use of our new craft hall, which I'm actually really pleased with. Now, the first thing that we're going to be doing today is actually taking stock of some of the comments that you've left for me on the last couple of videos. And also, I would really love to before we get down to things, just take a moment to thank you all for the enormous amounts of comments and likes, more to the point, that you've been leaving on the videos in this series. It really does help. Thank you so much for that. It really is appreciated. Now, the first comment that we're going to address is the fact that currently we're using red currants and barley to make food, and we really don't need to. What we want is more drink and less food. We've actually got more than enough food. We've got 86 meals right now, which is frankly kind of crazy, if I'm perfectly honest. As far as our booze goes, we do want to expand this out a little bit. And the second comment that I received was just pointing out that booze doesn't ever decay. So we are actually completely safe to go ahead and set all of that to be stored in here, and none of it down here taking up valuable space for things which can decay. So we'll go ahead and take care of that. Now, one of the side effects of the fact that I demolished the dumping zone over here out of frustration with the ash is that we now have some rotten food that we do need to get out of our cellar. So let's just create a couple of spots over here just for rotten meat and vegetable rot over there. We are then going to set up another one for we've got corpses over there. Let's set up one for ash here and one for bones down here. There we go. Let's clear all carcasses, animal carcasses and bones. There we go. And over here we just want waste and specifically ash. There we are. Nice and easily done. Now, as soon as some of this stuff has been carted over, I'll just delete these stockpiles again and then recreate them when we need to. That's about the best way that I have right now of managing the kind of screwiness that there is with some of the pathing and job production and completion with regards to hauling jobs. Now, the next question that was brought to mind is that we do have some concerns looming on the horizon. We're becoming a reasonably successful settlement at this point, and as such, we can expect trebuchets in our near future. Well, I say near, might somewhere in our future, we're going to start seeing trebuchets. Now, one thing about trebuchets is, first and foremost, let's just take stock of the size of the map that we're on. It's kind of an interesting idea to have trebuchets on a map this small, because realistically, the scale of the map isn't really fit for the operational range of a trebuchet. But that is a bit of an aside. You often find that in many games, like a game that has any kind of sniper weapon, and you're like, I would be using a pistol in these kinds of ranges. Why? The sniper weapon is completely ludicrous here, but the game is usually balanced around it. I have no idea how they're going to balance trebuchets, though, because one of the big ideas of trebuchets is that you would use it to besiege a castle and force the defenders to come out. That being said, based on the scale of the map, I've got a funny feeling that wherever a trebuchet is set up, it's going to be able to hit our town, and that is quite a worrying prospect. Normally, in real life, the kind of defenses that you'd have against siege weapons, beyond just being sieged, if the enemy brought siege weapons, they don't want to have a protracted siege. They don't want to have to starve you out. They want to force you out. Now, the thing with siege weapons is that typically a military fort would have their own. They'd have their own siege weapons, and perhaps they would be built in particularly favourable positions because they can choose and they can set it up, and because they're not having to bring the materials there and then just manufacture it on the go, they can perhaps afford to have much larger siege weapons, and you would have counter-sieging. Another option is if you had cavalry or something like that, you might send your cavalry out through a sally port and have them harass the siege camp, but not particularly looking to win the battle, because realistically, if you had the forces to just win the battle, you wouldn't be in a siege situation. You would have just sent your army out to deal with them. But in this particular instance, you really don't actually need to kill many people. You don't need to kill the men-at-arms. You don't need to kill the enemy knights. You just need to kill the carpenters and the engineers. That's all you need to do. So a couple of strategic harrying assaults may be able to solve that problem for you. And then you've just got to worry about whether they want to commit war crimes and poison the water source for the castle or not. Other such delightful siege mechanics such as that. But we have no real way of dealing with siege weapons. And that's the biggest concern. One way that we could deal with it, though it's not strictly dealing with it from within our camp, is to perhaps look at setting out a couple of forward stations. Little towers that really only exist to give our archers somewhere to set up. If a raid is coming from that particular direction, then we can send our archers out and be a little bit closer to the action. Because what I would imagine will happen when trebuchets show up is they will have a regular raid force with them. And so we're not really going to just want to throw our people out there. Otherwise, it's just going to be a pitched battle, and we're going to take severe losses. And that's really what we're trying to avoid. So if we had a couple of other towers dotted around the map, places like safe spots where we could have our forces hold up and project power a little bit better, might even the odds. Also, and this is kind of more of a nice side benefit than really by design, we may find that the trebuchets get distracted. One of the things that I've noticed with the AI and the pathing in general in this game is it's not particularly advanced. It doesn't really deal with nuance very well. So we might find that the trebuchets just shoot at the nearest construction that they can attack. And if that's not one that we've actually got anyone in, well, I mean, it sucks to have to repair it, but it's better than having massive boulders dropping in on our craft area. That would be particularly rubbish. So we've got a couple of options. Now, one of the nice things is we are generating quite a lot of clay down here, and we might be able to use some of this clay to build up some forts. Now, I'm not really sure if that's really going to be worth doing, because it's not like we're shy of bricks. So we've got more bricks than we've got clay. So I'm kind of inclined towards setting up a couple of little forward posts just out and about around the place. Let's find a nice spot. Somewhere over here might be a good one. It's nice and flat. Not necessarily the most important place for me to put a tower. I would say that would be over here because, frankly, this is terrifying me. If a trebuchet works much like our ranged weapons, and that is the higher up it is, the longer its range, and the more accurate it becomes, then having enemies set up over here is ultra dangerous for us because that's the highest point on the map. Over here is just buried in trees, but one of the nice things about setting up a little tower over here is we can kind of template the design first, find out what works, and then start replicating it elsewhere. I don't think we're going to put anything over here. Frankly, we're going to have... This is way too close to our walls anyway for us to need an additional tower. So I would say there's 3 corners that we need to defend, and we're going to start over here. So let's go ahead and lay down some fortifications, shall we? We don't want anything particularly large. We don't need anything especially complicated here. Want it reasonably close to the enemies, though. So maybe something around about here. We don't need it to be a large structure. I say, as I make it a 4x4 internally. That does allow me to build a stairwell, though, which is fine. Actually, we're probably going to want it to be a 5x5 to have a stairwell, because that gives us a space at the front and a space at the back on the upper level. So let me just redesign this a little bit. There we go, and we'll draw this out. Of course, no windows on the lower floor. Over here, we're going to have a door, I'm thinking, and that door will go down to a little stairs. It doesn't need to be anything particularly fancy, but this one will be actually made of blocks leading up to that doorway. I think that'll be fine. You can just squeeze that door in here. That being said, we probably do want a reinforced door, so let's pop that one over there. Inside, doesn't really matter what we use. Guess what we've got the most of, and in this case, that probably is a limestone block floor, so let's go ahead and lay that down. There we go, and then we can have just wooden stairs heading up to the next level. There we are. I'm not sure how tall we're going to make this structure. Maybe 2 levels higher than this, and from there we'll have our arches set up. But that should help out a little bit. Now, if we are thinking strategically, probably want to remove the ramps closest to the border, so that our people, even if a raid sets up around here, our people can easily access this area without having to walk past the raiders too closely. Have we got another ramp over there? Yes, we do. Okay, so we're going to take this one away as well. There we are, and that should give us a little bit of room to operate. Okay, as you can see, we've made some really decent progress on the forward tower over here. That has included mining away a lot more of the stone than I was initially intending. But there is a good reason for this, and that is because I fancy being fancy with it. Look, okay, it's me. You don't get to complain about that. Well, I mean, you can, but it's kind of silly. I will be adding a tower over there as well. I think this will give it a really, really nice feel for the dimensions. These are going to be supports, and we'll probably top them off with little roofs just to create a nice effect as we go on to the higher levels. And as I'm doing things like that, I'm learning new ways of building, and it all kind of plays into what we're going for. Now, as you can see over here, I've dug a little recess into the wall here, and that's because this is going to be one of the smaller shrines. We're going to go with a wooden Oak Brethren shrine here. This is not going to be the temple, though it is going to technically count as a temple. I don't see much point in not doing that, frankly. So we are going to have something along these lines, I'm thinking. Just a little spot for our Oak Brethren worshippers to be able to use to complete their religious observances whilst we're getting the main temple up. Though I don't really want it to have such a centralized door, I think. How should we go about this? I think we can have some torches in here, maybe even a brazier, some items along the walls. Actually, you know what? Maybe I should just have a little humble door. You know what? Yeah, I think that will work for the design we're going for. And what we can do over here instead. Let me delete that, as we can put in some windows over here. Of course, we're going to be using only wood for this, and we are not going to be building a reinforced door. No. We want a regular door there, and some wicker floor. What I'm going for with the Oak Brethren rooms is I really want it to be a humble design, just natural resources wherever possible. As for the roof, thinking about roofs, we've got wooden roofs. We could go with a wooden roof. I like the wicker roof, but let's go ahead with something along these lines. Let's not go for a full roof, though. Let's go for a partial roof. There we are. And bring that along. Okay. We're going to need a wooden support beam here. Very well, let's pop that down then. We can also then add in a couple of other items that we're going to need, because I do want it to be a temple room, because I've got this funny feeling that people are going to just go straight towards the nearest location that they can to satisfy their religious needs, and that would be this one. So if this isn't technically a temple, then they wouldn't be getting the quite substantial mood boost effect of going to somewhere that is considered a temple of their faith. And furthermore, I think we'll have a brazier in here, just for those extremely cold nights. But we'll go with something nice like clay. I think that's, of the items that I can use for a brazier, that's the most natural material type that we can use. And with that, we should then be able to build this roof. Now, how is that going to look? It's going to be still quite a tall roof, but I think that'll be okay. I think it'll work. So that'll be our first little building there. Now, over here, we are going to want the main temple entrance. And I've got quite a few ideas for this one. First and foremost, let's bring this out by 2. And then we're going to have some double doors leading in. And I'm thinking this one's going to have stone shrines, because we're going to dig it into a cave. I think that is going to give us a really, really interesting effect. As for up here, though, I kind of feel that, actually, before we dig these areas out... No, I changed my mind. Sorry for messing you around. We're going to have a wooden wall up there. And the reason for that is I might unlock banners. Are there any really nice ones? Do they have anything on them, or are they just straight up like blue cloth? Because it'd be lovely if we could have something like that. That being said, we could... I mean, there's no reason not to place these on the outside as well. Actually, let's do it to the sides instead, rather than in the middle. I think that'll look a little bit nicer. Yeah, I think that could work very, very well. And then we'll dig away that path. And then this area will become completely inaccessible. Right, how's everything else going? How are we doing with regards to our constructions? What are you up to right now? You're making some more longbows. Okay, very nice. The fact you're making a new longbow instead of breaking one down means that you've made a longbow that satisfies our quality requirements. Oh, and we've gotten all of the winter clothes we need. Oh, happy days. All right, everyone who's currently sleeping. Everyone who's currently sleeping. I would like you to take all your clothes off. I know. But I've got a reason for this. And that is because now I know exactly where all of these items that have just been dropped exist. I'm going to go ahead and allow them. And then I'm going to wait for them to be stored. Hopefully. We'll see if any of them need to be broken down. And then I'm going to tell you to put on winter clothes. And then that should prompt a bunch of new winter clothes being made, which will be rather glorious. I need to wait for that wall back there to be built before I can sit the shrine in that little alcove. Right, let's have a look over here. How are things going? They are going reasonably well. I am very happy to see. Okay, let's get those up. There we go. Perfect. Now we can start on the second story. First, though, actually, you know what? We're going to need a support beam, probably going right down the middle of the room. There we are. And then from there, we can build out the wooden floor. It makes more sense to me that this be a wooden floor than anything else, so that's what we're going with. With that in place, we can then safely rise these areas up one more level. There we go. And then we'll take probably, we're probably going to go for another 2 levels higher on the levels of this tower. So it's going to take our archers a little while to get up to the top, but it should be good enough. Actually, thinking about it before we seal this off, I do want some lighting in here. So let's go ahead and give you a metal brazier. Sure. Might as well use all of the metal that we're getting from the many raid items that we are recycling. There is definitely a special happiness you get from turning your enemy's weapons into, not weapons, into decorations. When you take the weapons of your enemies and you make baubles out of them, you're asserting dominance. If you turn it into weapons, that's just acknowledging that their weapons were decent weapons to begin with. When you turn them into decorations, you're making a much more bold statement. Right, with that being said, on that note, actually, we have gotten some mechanical components out of all of this, so we could, at this point, look to make some more of these. We've got 10 mechanical components. I am definitely on board with placing down a couple more of these traps here and there. Outside would be a decent place to pop them. Here and here, sure. This is still the main way that people are going to enter into our fortress, so it remains the main place that I want to put these traps. And we'll replace those as well. And that should give us an awful lot of slowing power as people are approaching our doors. That being said, again, we are at this point starting to worry a little bit about the potential dangers of all the trebuchets, etc., etc. Now, with all of that done, we are starting to see settlers suffering from cold. I know, it sucks, but I do need you to get a little bit more stuff moved around. Can we see if things have been moved yet? They have not. How? I mean, that's good. Leather, winter clothes. Good wool, winter clothes. Oh, no, sorry. Those are good wet leather summer clothes. Okay, one of them is decent. We're not getting rid of that one. Again, an easy check is to see if we're making something rather than breaking something down. So at this point, everything that we have stored still satisfies our winter apparel requirements. So let's go ahead and get all of you to pop on the winter apparel. And we shall see how that goes. Please and thank you. You should go and auto-equip. We'll see people grabbing them right now. There we go. Let's see lots of happy faces. Bilal just put on something that makes him happy. Let's have a look at that. You've got superior leather winter clothes. Those are brand new. No wonder you're happy. Wow, okay. Very nice. Do you get something nice from that? Elegant apparel. Okay. That's +5. My lord, that's high. That's like the sort of levels of, yeah, oh yeah, my friend died. You know, but I've got this lovely coat. You can't, you know, take the good with the bad, I guess. No, my lord. But it looks like everyone's grabbing things now. No one else is quite as happy as Bilal was. Perhaps we only had one superior item, but nevertheless, we've now got everyone in winter there. I could start getting people out of their summer clothes who are on the, looking at the time, on the day shift, but let's just make sure that everything's okay. Yeah, we don't have quite enough winter clothes yet, so I'm going to wait for the stockpile to be refilled, but we've got a decent amount of summer clothes now, so that's actually pretty cool. We're actually making some decent progress over here as well. We're now working on the leather helmets. Very nice. Very nice indeed. I would love it to have enough... You know what? I'm actually going to tell you to make enough leather helmets for the entire colony. And the reason for that is that I would generally like my people not to be wearing helmets unless there is actually fighting. But once there is, I would like you to go and put them on straight away. Now, we need some more wood. Are our trees old enough? This is a growing tree. This is a fully mature tree. Okay. It looks like it's time. Once a tree is mature, it'll start seeding trees around itself. So if you can avoid just chopping down all of the mature trees in one go, then you'll probably find that the trees will just regrow themselves with very minimal effort from you. But we've got a maintained tree farm over here for a reason. Let's get all of that wood inside, please. Indeed, and thank you. There we are. How's things going over here? Well, we're going to have to wait on the wood, but everything else, it looks like, is in a good place. There we go. All right, starting to come together now. Starting to come together. To that end, let's go ahead and place in the limestone slate roofs. We're going to need the angled variety, though. Something like this. Pop these on top of each one. And this will look glorious, I hope. There we are. We'll wait for them to all be built before we build the next perimeter wall and then the stairs upwards as well. But that is coming along really, really nicely. In fact, that's probably a better defensive structure than we've got in our main base. And yeah, it's going to happen like that sometimes, sadly. But it's just the way we're going to have to roll with it, it seems. As for food, things seem to be in a good position. Oh, actually, our food is starting to overflow down here. We might want to continue expanding out the Great Hall then. Now, to make the Great Hall great, I would like to expand it quite considerably. We're going to bring the wall out here and going to have a little gatehouse somewhere around there. something like that, or well, a gatehouse, a main entrance into the place. I'm tempted to widen it at the back here, but I'm honestly only doing that just to give some sort of visual stimulation to the build, and I think we can achieve that by having something like this. And again, sometimes just experimenting with a build allows you to find things that work well, and I'm really liking where this is going. I think having them a little bit wider over here will be better, especially because that'll allow me space to put windows on the upper floors. So we're going to expand this out even further, and then eventually dig our cellar all the way back. We'll have a ladder going down there at some point, but I'm really quite happy with where that's coming. Now, we've got a lot of work yet still to do, so I'm going to let our peeps get on with that. It is day 7 of autumn, and little by little we are getting everyone in good clothing and getting some much needed defensive building work done, as well, of course, as moving on with the build of the Oak Brethren Temple. So I shall bring you back shortly. Olin didn't stop looking over his shoulder, but it was the bleeding wheels around Olin's ankles that gave him away as a prisoner on the run. Would you conceal him? They may have been followed. Let's have a look. 1 murderous forest bandit, 4 forest bandits, 4 fierce forest bandits, and 3 ruthless forest bandits. I will indeed help you. Right then, Olin, we need to learn a couple of things about you first, though. Starting with your name. Please, everyone, welcome to the colony, Bicklow. Thank you ever so much for your patron support. You are a thoughtless tanner, though. That seems a little bit of a letdown. A thoughtless tanner, my lord. Bicklow knew how to tan a hide with an animal's own brains, and with the alchemy of wood ash, excrement, and festering bark. Without Bicklow, no one would have shoes, armour, or saddles. But he was hardly popular. As jobs go, Bicklow's really stank. After the apocalypse, Bicklow fancied himself a dressmaker, and so he set about using miller's flour sacks, sheets, and linen rags to clothe the destitute orphans and wastrels of Dun. A frightful sight they were, shorn of their remaining dignity. Wow. You're 158 centimeters tall, 101 kilos, 24. Your religious alignment, practicing Oak Brethren. You are cold-hardy. Bicklow seems impervious to the cold. He works on throughout the harshest days of winter. And precious. You're thin-skinned, delicate and nervy. It's important to keep you comfortable. Very well. Well, let's get you back into the town. We've still got a couple more deer to hunt, but as you can see, things are coming along very nicely over here. Very nicely indeed. Back at base, though, we've finished building up all of the metal traps, and we are currently, well, we've got a bit of a problem for a couple of our peeps. They are presently without clothing. It is a shame, to be certain, but we will get you all sorted as soon as we can. Can we get some caps on you peeps? Right, Bicklow, let's have a look at your skills. Melee, passion of 6. Marksman, 5. You know what? That's not bad. Let's get you melee one-handed and a shield, please. And indeed, thank you. Let's get that all going. I may actually start moving people over specifically to having swords in the not-too-distant future. I'm going to allow you to sit still for a little bit, though. We do still need to get some more winter clothes ready for you. But hopefully you'll be okay. You can go and grab odds and sods. So we've got some beer, a small pile of beer there. Exactly 1 beer, not exactly what I would call a pile, I'll be honest, but it's there. Progress is being made. Sadly, I had to take down the wall decoration because we can't build a roof with that there. I was really hoping that it wouldn't mind, but it apparently does. Quite a lot, as it happens. Right, now, Bicklow, where are we going to put you? I'm thinking... Well, let's have a look at your jobs first and foremost. You're not really particularly good at tending, so I'm just going to give you a 4 on that one. Hunting, you're definitely going to be a 5 there, but you do like construction and you do like mining. These are very nice things, but you're especially keen on getting a bit of tailoring done, so that's going to be your primary there. You're not going to do carpentry at all. I'll allow you to do research only if there is literally no one else around to do it, though. I think that'll be the way that we go with that one. In terms of botany, you're not terrible, but I still don't really want you focusing on that. Cut plants is a 3 more or less for everyone, just because I want people to chop down trees if there's a need. Mining, I'm going to give this to you on a 3, sure. And I'll allow you to have a 3 on construction as well. But realistically speaking, you're going to be the town's tailor. Hopefully you will be able to clothe yourself, and then following that, everyone else. It is still raining. Wow. I'm so sorry that I'm having so many of you wandering around without any clothes on during the rains. Other items there, those are fine summer clothes. So we should be able to, at this point, just go ahead and say, go and put on winter clothes. Let's get everyone in these. There we go. Winter, 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 and winter down there as well, please, and thank you. There we are. All right, as for the schedule now, since you're more of a tailor than anyone else, we've got Pepster. Actually, we've got quite a few tailors thinking about it. River Knight, Mousy. River Knight, Mousy are on the same one. Pepster is on an opposite one, but I'm going to pop you in Pepster's schedule there. Slowly filling out the rooms, little by little. We're getting there. It'll happen soon enough that they're all done. I do now need to tell you can pick that up, though. There we are. Sorted. Enemies coming 1 day away. Oh, we've almost got the shrine finished. Oh, that's super good. Once that's done, then I can stop worrying about the other shrine. We can just tear that one down. We won't need it, as we'll have somewhere that people can go to tend to their requirements. Let's have a look. The red currant shrub. Is there a shrub there yet? Or has one not been planted? Let's just double check. No, I don't. Is it? Or is it just telling me what that it's a crop? I'm not at all sure. Number of harvest 5, max. Yeah, it's not giving me any kind of growth time. I'm not able to select anything. So, oh, of course, yes, it's too cold now. Sadly, it doesn't look like we managed to get through them. The trees weren't able to get strong enough to be able to grow. That is a bit of a shame, but oh well. There's always next spring to plant these plants. Oh well. Let's get all of those done. There we are. Oak Brethren Temple complete. Hooray! And with that, time for us to finally do away with this. We're going to first start by just taking this entire area out. And that will cause our Oak Brethren to head over into the little temple area to deal with their religious observances. How are we doing over here? We are currently working on some more shields. That's always good to see. Always good to see. I doubt we're going to be able to get this in any kind of state of completion, but the time that we need it to be there, we'll see how it goes. So, Malachi, are you actually wearing anything? No. Well, I mean, hopefully we'll get some. Bicklow is working on some caps for you. Why are you not working on winter clothes? How much does it require to make a cap? 35, whereas we require 80 here. How much fabric do we have? Can we see? Does it tell us? Iron nuggets? No, it's not telling us anything about that. Let's have a look down here then. Do we have just no fabric? That would be a problem then, wouldn't it? Yeah, well, we've got some up there. Not much, though. Alright, that's going to be a bit of a rough time for our peeps. So what I'm going to do then, for those who haven't managed to put anything on, I just guess I'm going to tell them all apparel then. That's a bit of a bummer, but oh well. We have been burning through our plant fibers, and we haven't had a good raid in a little while in order to make use of the clothing that they bring along for repurposing. But is this still there? I wonder if we can get, perhaps, once... is Russell up and about? Yes, Russell is up and about. Though, Russell is all the way over here dealing with this, so we're probably not going to get them to help out over there anytime soon, sadly. But we are starting to work on the second layer now, which is actually quite nice. Now, Russell, you're in fairly high spirits. Can I get you over here to take care of this? Let's see. Getting resources for construction? There shouldn't be any resources involved in that one, Russell. I'm going to be honest with you. Are you... Which way are you going? Okay, maybe you can't reach it. Alright, that would explain it. I was hoping that they would be able to break it down from above, but perhaps that isn't the case. Okay, well, we'll put in a temporary stairs then, just so we can get up there and take that out. Now, we've got 13 hours before the attackers arrive. It shouldn't be too bad. We are presently busy at work, building new swords and shields. So, yeah, at this point, I think we're going to manage and create a new item here. Edit. We want a new one. One-hand sword. Ideally, no more than... we'll drop it at 51%. And the weapon types. We want melee. And we specifically want... Okay, let's turn all of those off. Short swords. I guess dagger would be okay, but I'd actually kind of want you to grab short swords only, please, and thanks. There we are, that should be good enough. And let me just make sure that that is indeed, yep. Okay, let's make sure all of our melee, all of our melee peeps are grabbing that one-hand sword. There we go. And that should work out well. Now, I do need to make sure that I've allowed them to pick everything back up. Anywhere that someone might have been at the time. So let's just select everything. Yeah, there was one dropped out there and one there. So these are now available for repurposing. If you want to smelt them down, you're more than welcome to. And I think Dr. Lady Tara probably is. Unless you're just hauling. Oh, you're just hauling. Fair enough. That's not too bad then. How are we doing for research, though? We're slowly building back up. Why are they going down? Dr. Lady Tara, are you moving the books around? They shouldn't be decaying in here. No, they should be all right in there. I was for a moment there worried that maybe they were decaying, but it doesn't look to be the case. But while I let people get everything done that they can before the enemies arrive, I shall lay a cut here and I shall bring you back when the raiders are at the gates. Figuratively speaking, of course. The swarthy jailers wanted your villager, Bicklow. And they wanted them now. They had to pay for their crimes or your whole village would pay. It was up to you. The defiant settlers refused to bow to the assailants' demands. You stood your ground, refusing to give in to their demands. Let's take up arms. There we go. Right, let's have a look. How many of you are actually capable of range attacks? None of you. Oh, this is glorious. But you are very close indeed. Okay. I wasn't expecting that one, but all right. How's everyone doing back here? I really do hope that a few of you will go and grab some swords, please, and indeed thank you. We'll see how that goes. But Bicklow's in an amazing mood. Wonder what's going on over here. Elegant apparel, stepped into an Oak Brethren temple, entertainment needs fulfilled, religious needs fulfilled, slept in own quarters. Together we are strong. Apes together strong, indeed. Initial optimism. Well, I'm very, very happy to see you in such high spirits. Frankly, that's amazing. What I may need to do is not have you going outside, but instead come on inside. Let's have both of you head down here. And then can I keep locked? Yes. Lock that door. Lock that door. No more pathing outside. Now, can I allow you to go? No. No, naughty. Naughty. Naughty, both of you. Head back here. Right, get you. There we are. Go. Right. Instead, can I have you prioritize locking that door? And Bicklow, can I have you prioritize locking this door? Lock the... No! Why are you both so bad? Go. My lord. Okay, well, fine. The enemy are upon us. Let's get everyone awake who needs to be awake. Let's get you over there on the Merlons. Dr. Lady Tara, since you're quite close, you're going to get there very fast, which is great. Can I get you over there as well? There does seem to be a little bit of control lag every now and then. I've noticed that happening more than once at this point. That I'll click on something and I'll assume that it's gone through and that's my fault. But there does seem to be quite a few instances where things don't change over, perhaps as they should. You're free to go. Only you're not. Could you just lock the door? There you go. Locking door. Come on. And locked. Perfect. Go about your business, please. Right then. Now, all of our sleepers are waking up. Dr. Lady Tara, not up there yet. Let's move you up there, please. Come on now. Pepsi, you're in a decent position, but let's move you over there. We should be okay from here to do some really nasty damage on him. My lord, you're a giant. Sadly, it's not going to work out for you, but... let's get you locked down here. And you lot as well. We might not even actually need our melee combatants for this one. We may find that they don't require anything. It may also be that our swords are not good enough right now. That might be why they're not picking them up. I'm going to go ahead and edit this and tell them to grab any quality of sword, and that'll be the clue on that one. Go. Take aim and slay the scallywags, please. You there. Manu. Mousy, let's get you in position. There we go. From here, we should easily be able to wipe them out. It would be great if you could focus fire, but I'm going to allow you to choose your targets yourselves. And this is perhaps a little bit of laziness on my part, and also I just want to see how the AI handle it, but they are not really prioritizing that well. I'm not sure that they're prioritizing based on their best chance to hit, or just on closest assailant. Either way, they've barely even scratched our doors. In some cases, that's all they've done. They've just put a scratch or two into it, and we have laid waste to their entire raid. This is... yeah. I can see... Trebuchets, I think, are probably, as far as what I've heard of how they work, more of a balancing mechanic right now than anything else, because it's so easy to make an impenetrable defense like this. 10 sworn enemies died during the fight. Dr. Lady Terror was the bravest of the settlers, dealing the most blows to the foe. Thankfully, no settler was even hurt by enemy weapons. Woven Tails OP. Oh, I'm sorry. I left you over there. My bad. Right, with that, let's go ahead. We can pop this onto default, and everyone can get out there then. Take aim. Last couple of shots. Ooh, fantastic hit. And there we are. The enemies have been slain. No more will they trouble the folk of Woven Tales. Let's get all of their gear in here as well. Now, we should be able to make some winter clothes with that, which is, yay. Very, very happy times. Very happy times indeed. Now, if we can just get someone up there to take care of this. Malachi, you heading up there? Deconstructing. Oh, marvellous. Maybe that's what I need to do. I mean, to lock these doors more often and say, look, get your house in order before you start worrying about the things outside, please and thanks. But let's just get that done. And then the final thing that we're going to look at is whether or not we can build the roofs that I want. Now, wicker roofs. First one there, and then one here. And it should look really pretty as a way in. Now, I'm not sure if that's going to allow us to place any torches. Maybe it will. Maybe it won't. Honestly, that would work for me. I'd be completely okay with that. We can have these on the front of the temple instead. Yes, I think this is going to look really rather nice. Really rather nice. Now, I'm still not convinced that this is going to work out the way I want it to. So I'm actually going to cancel these for now. I'm going to allow the roofs to be built first, and then we'll worry about all of that. Settlers are suffering from the cold. Well, put some clothes on then. I've told you you're allowed at this point. There you are. Find linen, find linen, summon clothes. Linen clothes as well. Oh, my lord. But sadly, on that note, that is really all the time that I have for the recording for today. In the next episode, I hope to focus on, well, obviously finishing off the temple area, but then all eyes are going to turn to the Great Hall, and I have great plans for the Great Hall. Rather appropriate, really, when you think about it, but that is going to be it from me. I hope you have enjoyed today's episode, and I hope you will be joining me from the next. As ever, if you enjoyed what you saw and you want to see more, do leave a like or a comment on the video, or both. If you're in an especially generous mood, Saint Algorithmus will appreciate it, as will I. But that is going to be it from us. So until next time, and as always, do take care all.